billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines.
Says 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review.
A positive review.
Get what you get.
It's just Rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Okay, so tonight we have...
Buy our merch indeed, and child shall lead them.
What, did we forget the whole thing?
We were muted. We were muted, dear listener.
All
Shout
right.
out to Marie Austin. Thank you so much for all the admin work you have done for us. We appreciate it. The night belongs to Mike Franco and Negative Vibes, dear listener.
Yes.
I'm just trying to pull up this stream.
All right, you guys. So let's see what the first song on our list tonight. Actually, we actually have the name for this stream. The name for this stream being the West Side East Side stream. This is a hip hop stream, as far as I understand.
It is.
Cannibal Ox Pigeon is the first song on the list. Cannibal Ox are a Harlem three-piece hip hop group.
Harlem World, throw it up!
Comprised of rappers Vordul Mega and Vast Air with DJ producer ELP, who would later shake the scene a second time with Killer Mike as Run the Jewels. They released just one album as a group in 2001, the very first release of that album that really defined the New York underground hip-hop scene at the time, Definitive Jukes Records. Vordul's stilted, mechanical, machine gun flow complements Vast Air's much looser delivery just perfectly. There's a really cool 30-minute mini documentary about the making of this album on YouTube, and I would highly recommend checking it out sometime soon. Okay, so right now on the Vin and Sori channel, I'm going to, I thought he actually had the link to that, but there is no link to that. So check that out if you're interested, you guys. In the meantime, we've got a stream picture in the corner here. Whoop.
It's there. It's there already.
Yes, I'm pointing at it as we speak. All right, the words of the lyrics to the song are right up on Trello.
They're tagging up a wall.
You know what? Yeah,
It's saying hip hop.
the camera's not very clear.
What happened? Uh-oh. This perfectionist. We gotta fix the camera. We gotta get the camera perfect. Perfect! Can't be mad at that, dear listener. It's
Perfection. Perfection. Excellence. All right.
Did YouTube nuke your channel? I don't get notifications for your videos anymore. YouTube is very interesting. I'm not going to say they nuked your channel. What I will say is that if you have a problem with that, which a lot of people have expressed, unsubscribe and resubscribe and then hit that bell button. And also like this video, because the less and less you like a video, it tells YouTube you're interested in those people.
Exactly.
So some of it is conspiratorial, like, oh, they don't want us to have the channel. But some of it is like the video. So one of the easiest ways to get us a notification for when we've gone live, because we've gone live for the last 2 days in a row, is like the video and subscribe and resubscribe. You should be in good shape. Let me fix this background music, because we're dealing with hip hop, not metal, which generally drowns it out. Everybody's saying background music way too loud, so let me turn that.
Yeah, I don't even hear the background music. Do you?
Well, that's because I just turned it off. I didn't turn it off. I turned it down. We had the mic on cardioid, so we should be in really, really good shape right now. All right, dear listener, here we go. Amy Lee's in the house, so now we really gotta bring our A game. We got Mike and Amy in the house. Can't have any weak sauce reviews.
No, nothing. No weak sauce, anything here. Okay, Cannibal Ox, Pigeon.
Cannibal Ox, Pigeon, song number 1. Not Cannibal Corpse. Cannibal Ox. Alright. Pigeon, song number 1. Where is it? Where is it, Yavasul? Okay, there it is right there. Boom bap. Yeah, I turned it up for you.
Metallic wing pigeon, cannibal ox. Birds of the same feather flock together, congested on a majestic street corner. That's a short time goal for most of them, cause most of them would rather expand their wings and hover over greater things. That's what we call inspired flight by the pigeons that gotta eat pizza crust every night. And let there be light was understood when a mic stand descended from up and above into the hood. And if my face is worth 1,000 words when it's scarred, I would only hope that 2 of those are cocoa and butter to heal the wounds of the tissue scarred that marked the death of my womb. But I've graduated, got my wings, and you've gotta let go of my constructed Lego, ego, waffle, halo. Hey yo, I'm a black man with an African drum in my chest that beats in the opposite of the right. Let me know I got a breath left in this frigid, fragile capsule that allows you to fly south before the winter winds trap you. I rock my hell, I made it wetsuit stitch so I can swim in elevators crazy wet through pitch. I'm just a pigeon with 1 mile left that doggy paddles through this bullshit ocean of death. And these rags to richest words will break bone, like the assassination of 2 birds with 1 stone. That's why I don't associate with bird brains with their beaks in the air. Pelicans with wide jaws that name. For fish heads you'll get tossed in the flames, and some archaeologists will find your skeletal frame.
Talk to him.
Shot plated metal lung with spun kids carousel. Mega alarm technoloid. These boys fight for arms swinging 2 toes very well. Territories jubilated mega noise when ironworks bullet shot animated mad windows with fireworks shining. Summertime hydrants flash passing cars now run ghetto tyrants. These faces carry scars mega large. Pigeons turn penguin talk fake on cellular. Detached Christ word, but freeze frame gold chain swing sun of guard iceberg gem shines on the neck ghetto flight bird getting fly like word. Let it settle. I remember cats snatched off the pedal, stealing bike days. Do rags worn tight, piranha bite wave. Smoke Chiba through the lung Arabian camel, fast like a cheetah. Now I'm knocked off my African sandal. God damn you, Ethiopian skin mechanical, trapped in ghettos mega yard where mega hard arms swinging metal palm iron skin leopards, holding evil metal eagle attached to desert. Paranoid fingertips stitched with 350 plus 7 metal shit, tucked behind a belt, ghetto style like delicate street etiquette. Never lactose metal cow, got milk in the gut settling. Cats gotta eat, swallow beef horribly. Melanin, mahogany, black boys, feed face arachnoid. 8 arms working short circuit, manufactured, crack melted. Slinging shotgun through the mouth of cracked helmets. Black felted, capsule, pop flow, shot heavy through the nostril. Brain scissors, grab the pistol and get hostile. He caught you alone, fuse blown, unemployed, screaming that's why I robbed you. Tired of the Medicaid, deaded by the car, no containers filled with lemonade. You better get a job, mother talk. Just another hawk, humiliated, bodega, food stamp transaction. Left field corners buckle me accompanied by evil hands clapping. Rocking my hell, I made it wetsuit stick so I could swim in elevators, crazy wet through pits. I rock my simulated air tank bit so I can leak pressures of oxygen when my mic slip. I'm just a pigeon.
right, that was the first group. This is song 1 of Hip Hop Night, Cannibal Ox. Not Cannibal Corpse. Cannibal Ox.
Nope. The name of the song is Pigeon. Now, was this song basically Birds was saying? Basically, he's talking about his life growing up in the hood.
Yeah,
and what it was
basically,
like.
yeah. And you know, like the pigeons and things like that. That's like a staple in New York. You know, you just see the pigeons on the ground, but they're not really worth anything.
Yeah,
and they're just kind of a staple there, like not something that you would see. And I think he's not something that's like gonna stick out of the ordinary, but they're animals that kind of don't get any sort of respect type of thing, and it's kind of the effect that you get as a person in the ghetto, I think, was how he was using that metaphor. I think. Birds of the same feather flock together, congested. I don't know how you guys want to do this, because I almost feel like I want to do like verse by verse. What? Like the breakdown, like, you know, well, okay, but I'm not gonna. All right,
that's insane. I think that you should pick some of them out that like were meaningful to you, and we'll talk about those.
Well, all of them are meaningful. That's the problem. Birds of the same feather flock together, congested on a majestic street corner. That's a short time goal for most of them, because most of them would rather expand their wings and hover over greater things. That's what we call inspired flight. So what he's talking about there is like, that just reminds me of Summer in the Hood, man, where you just go out there and there's people, but everybody's by the block, and everybody kind of like hangs out by the street corner, because usually the bodega would be right at the end of the street corner, right? And so that's, everybody flocks to that area, but that's also where the drug dealers would be.
Okay.
So you'd have the bodega is basically like a private 7-Eleven, right? Where, you know, Miss Sanchez and her family or whatever, they all pitch in together and they pretty much live in the bodega. I mean, they basically live there, but that's how they make their money. So you got the bodega, and then outside the bodega is a drug dealer, are the drug dealers. And that's pretty much, they're out there literally almost 24/7 because they're dealing drugs or whatever. And so birds of the same feather flock together, congested on a majestic street corner, which is kind of a... That's a very interesting way to talk about the street corner, because for us, when we talk about the corner, oh, you're still on the corner, blah, 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 it's like, because it's associated with the drug game and all the violence and the cop being harassed by police, all the rest of it, the corner is kind of looked at something as something that you want to avoid. Like, it's a marker. It's kind of like if you say, oh, you're still living in your mother's basement when you're 25. Like, it's a marker that you've pretty much failed at life if you're still in the corner.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In your 30s, if you're still in the corner.
Oh, really? That's viewed like that?
Oh, yeah. You've.
What do they expect these people to do after they've been drug dealing?
Well, what Jay did, Jay washed his money and he converted it into something good. The Kennedys were a big drug family. They converted that. So.
Okay, so you're saying amongst the community.
Yeah,
they all feel like you should be done doing that at a certain age.
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
I didn't know that.
You shouldn't be on the corner selling nickel bags.
I guess I thought it was like, well, yeah, nickel bags.
You're selling nickel bags and shit because look, you're vulnerable to the police.
Yeah.
You don't have any, so you should be out of there, and you should be bigger in the drug game to where, in your parlance, basically like you're a manager, you have people working for you. You should not be on the corner.
Oh. Not that you should get out of the drug game then. They're just saying you just shouldn't be running the corner. Oh, that makes sense to me. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood.
If you're on the corner, you're a low-level drug dealer.
Yeah, that's like you own a grocery store and you're still bagging the groceries and bringing in the car.
And that's where the cops, jam you up and all the rest of it. So, but he describes the corner, though, as majestic.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Which is brilliant.
Why?
Well, because, like I said, the corner is usually looked upon as something terrible.
Yeah.
And it practically and socially, but it's majestic because the people there are still people. You see what I'm saying? And there is something like, I don't want to say beautiful, but there is something kind of homey about, once in a while when I go back to New York and I see dudes like, around the block, and by the, hanging around by the bodega, it definitely like. It stirs up nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was negative, I saw a lot of crazy shit happen on those corners, That's where dude got shot.
Yeah.
That's where, you know, like, so.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still majestic because those are your people. Your people are still there. That's a short time goal for most of them. Because that's what they say. Like, oh, I'm just going to do this for a little bit.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then it's like a little bit turns into how long? You get all this fast money. You're not just going to... You see what I'm saying? Like, when you get fast money like that, you're not just going to...
You have to be really disciplined to take the money and do what Jay did with it.
Right.
That takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah, you got to be a different type of dude.
You've been struggling for a while. You know, your friends have been struggling for a while. You come into the money, so you want to... You know, some people might want to party it up. People want to do other things instead of preparing for making life easier for yourself in the future. But good for Jay. We're talking about Jay-Z, obviously.
They'd rather expand their wings and hover over greater things. That's what we call inspired flight. By the pigeons that got to eat pizza crust every night and let there be light was understood when a mic stand descended from up and above into the hood. So that right there is just talking about how, in my view, like, you just have this lowly life. You're eating you're eating stale pizza crust because you don't have enough capital to kind of get shit moving for you. Yeah. And you're hopeless. You feel you're gonna be stuck in the hood, and then boom, down comes this mic stand from, Valhalla, and it says let there be light in the sense of now you've got some hope because you can use this mic to get yourself out of a neighborhood, out of a bad situation. Yep. Like, that's one of the things about capitalism where it's like, I know that there are a lot of evil aspects of capitalism that are really, really horrible. But America is the only country where a person like me can be in the situation I'm in. You see what I'm saying? High school,
mean?
Not much education.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jay. Yeah. Not much education.
Yeah.
And you can actually do something for yourself. So, like, I have criticisms of capitalism, but at the same time, it is true that capitalism has risen a lot of people out of poverty. If capitalism could work the way that, the capitalists like to tell us it works, it'd be great. But unfortunately, people like Jay-Z and the rest of them are exceptions. They're not the rule. And if my face is worth 1,000 words when it's scarred, I will only hope that those two are cocoa and butter.
Yeah.
To heal the wounds of the tissue scar to mark the death of my womb, but I graduated, I got my wings, and I've got back to my structural... and let go of my constructed Lego Eggo waffle halo. Hey yo, I'm a black man with an African drum in my chest and the beats in the opposite of right. Let me know I got a breath left in this frigid, fragile capsule. He's talking about himself. Like, he's still got life. His mom has died. He's taken some loss. The death of my womb. I'm assuming he's talking about his mom Dukes. And then he's going back to his... I
didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, he's going back to his African heritage. So he still has breath left in his he's still fighting. He's still got shit to live for. Yeah. That allows you to fly south before the winter winds trap you. I wrapped my hell, I made it wetsuit stitch. So now he's able to go south and stuff when it's cold or whatever. Yeah. And now he's got some capital to play around with. He's got more options now.
Yeah. I didn't understand, so I can swim in elevators crazy wet through piss.
Well, because he's got a wetsuit on. Yeah. Because in the hood, like, dudes literally, like, will piss in the elevators. So, like, anytime you go in the elevators, it smells like absolute piss. Like, it smells like a
You're
locker.
Kidding.
No bullshit.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what he's talking about. I'm just a pigeon with 1 mile left. So, like, he probably went back to the hood after he made it, whatever. And he's remembering all that shit.
Wow.
Like, it's not... Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's real. I think... shout out to Damn Lamb for the $10 super chat. I think our politics reflect us as humans. We are flawed. So the things we do and make are flawed. Politics is not a science. So things will never work out like we idealize them. Does that make sense? 100%, dude. 100%. I agree. And it obviously has ramifications on the people that the policies are affecting for obvious reasons. Escargot Metal got shit kicked out in the oxygen cell. Word shot plated metal along which spun kids' carousels. Mega Alarm Technoid. These boys fought forearms swinging 2 toes very well. That's very interesting. Words shot plated metal along with which spun kids' carousels. Mega Alarm Technoid. These boys fight forearms. Fight forearms.
Yeah.
Swinging 2 toes very well. Remember that numerology I was talking about that was very big with Nas and the rest of them?
Yeah.
So this guy's doing the same thing too, right? 4 arms swinging 2 toes very well. Territories jubilated mega noise when ironworks. Bullet shot animated mad windows with fireworks. So I think what he's talking about there is just snapshots of the hood. Bullet shots animated man windows with fireworks. It kind of has that effect after a while. Like when the first gunshot happened outside, I was like, "Yo, is that a gunshot?" And then my older brother's like, "Get down!" He's very But then after a while, it kind of became like fireworks. Like fireworks out here, when the season's starting and it starts popping, and you just keep going.
You just get used to it.
You're just used to it.
So
it's
crazy.
Gunshots out there, like fireworks. Like, yo, people are busting, blah 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 blah.
It's when you tell me stuff like that.
You don't see it as crazy as it really is, though. It's hard to explain. Like when you're in the middle of it, it's just like.
Oh no! But the thing is, everything gets normalized. I know this is a very mild example, but people from the city, when they would come to our house, we always had a wood stove. So literally fire burning in the middle of your house. Not in the middle. It's in a metal box.
Controlled, yeah.
And it's going out a chimney, but people that are not around that, they're like, "That's insane. You have your kids around a wood stove." Of course, we grew up around a wood stove. Previously at my, previous house, we had a wood stove, no issues. You know what I mean? But that's what you get used to. And I know that a wood stove is not comparable to gunshots outside your window, but it is just, different places acclimate to different things. But that's like a really insane thing to acclimate to. The sound of guns going off in your streets. I mean, my gosh, you just keep going weird. Very weird. I don't know about that. How old were you? Do you remember?
Young teenager, small teenager, But at the time, I was excited. I was like, "Whoa!" Because you have no concept of your own mortality.
Oh, I know.
So you're just thinking, "Yo, I want to see some shit happen."
Yeah.
But and the other thing for me is I wanted to see if it was all hype. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, teenagers. Woo. Okay. All right.
Okay. What do you give this song?
I mean,
this song for me was very, very nostalgic.
That's exactly what I was.
It brought me back to 167, 4 Train, Grand Concourse. Shout out to Marcus. Shout out to all my folks. But it reminded me of that. It's not all. It's so hard to explain. The hood is hard. It's bad. And even the bad stuff, you still kind of miss it. It's very, very hard to explain. It's very hard. I would never live there again. I would never live in the middle of it again. But there is part of you that's like, yo.
I was listening to this thing.
It is kind of nostalgic. I'm not going to... I don't know why it's nostalgic for me, but it is.
Isn't it interesting to think, sometimes we're bent on, looking at the negative, and sometimes we're bent on looking at the positive, if you looked at all the negative from that time period, you'd be like, hell no, I don't want to, there's no nostalgia there. You know what I'm saying? But there's obviously the positive that you in your mind, you kind of separated them out so that way you could still, there was some, when you talk about sharing sodas, you and your friends, going in there and you get a quarter and you get a soda and then everybody shares it with each other. And just some of the, I guess even... for us, it was us and it was our cousins and a few friends in the neighborhood. So, I mean, there was 13 of us kids when we were all together, but that was it, what us 13 were doing that was our entire lives. There was nothing outside of that. So it's unbelievable to think you and I are so friggin' different with our upbringing and everything that we've experienced. It's just so bizarre.
Yeah. A little bit different.
Yeah,
Little bit different.
It's cute.
Well, you guys had guns too, though, right? Like, you guys had guns? Like, did your dad have a gun?
No, I don't think so. If they had anything, it would have been like a big one for hunting, but I don't even think that they had that. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of these.
The lodge. So.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
All right, guys.
I think we can load them. Okay, so obviously the song itself doesn't bring any nostalgia for me at all, and some of the spots were kind of shocking. The sound of it
spots
was...
were... What was shocking to you?
Well...
This is interesting.
Well, you know, I'm just talking about, like, where the guns were going off. Where was that? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. The craziness. To pee in the elevator. You know, what do you mean, what craziness? Yeah. See, this is what we're talking about.
I've no nostalgia for the piss in the elevator. I've no nostalgia for that at all.
So anyway, they're just weird. Bullet shot animated mad windows with fireworks.
You'd actually be... Actually, I'm not going to tell that story. It's actually a pretty bad story. I'm starting to realize now.
Let's stop right there.
I was starting to realize now that some of these stories are better left unsaid because they're pretty terrible.
Oh no. Okay, so for me, the song is an 8.2.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, this song, I don't know what year this song came out.
Ben, I emailed you back.
But this song had like 90s Wu-Tang vibes. Like, this is, I don't want to sound like this. This is the kind of rap that I came up on. This is the kind of rap, when I think about rap, when I hear a beat like this, these are the kind of bars I think about bringing. Like, I'm still trying to figure out hip-hop today. It doesn't seem to be about the lyricism so much, which is okay. That's okay. Mace was not a very lyrical person, but he was just aesthetically pleasing to listen to because of the way what he did with his rhyme schemes. Mm-hmm. Like, he had a lot of, duplicated and triplicated, like, internal, external rhyme schemes that were really awesome. So, like, for him, it was like the flow. He had almost like an ASMR aspect to his. So it's not just really? Like, Big was a lyricist. Rakim was a crazy lyricist. Mace is, Mace is, he wasn't very lyrical, but he was very pleasing to listen. Look at you and look at us. Your guns don't bust. I'm bringing with the thrush. Man, you better hush. I could be inside the cage. You can still get touched. And them little ones you bust ain't enough for us. Listen here. Mace will make you disappear. And your mouth will be the reason that you missed this year. Man, don't need you. You don't need me. I don't need you neither. That's why my next leg's gonna be a 2-seater. You know what I'm saying? Like, not very lyrical. Not like, but it's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. This is 9.4 for me. 9.4 for me. I appreciate the lyricism. The beat was hard, and it just brought me back to the gutter. Like, the freaking gutter, dear listener. The gutter. Okay, we shall return. More hip-hop coming your way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. DJ Mike, Negative Vibes. We shall return. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. The child
shall lead them
to buy our merch. Okay, patrons, don't forget to go on Patreon and check out the video, the sneak peek into our song. It's from Vin and I practicing it a lot. The boys have started singing it, the babies, the 3-year-old and the 2-year-old. So they were doing their version of our song. So
is it on Patreon?
Yeah. So if you watch them, you're gonna get an idea of what's going on with the song.
All right.
So check it out. That is that's up on Patreon if you wanna see that. That's one of our latest posts that we put there. So be there or be square.
All right. The next song is Tyler the Creator, 911/Mr. Lonely, featuring Frank Ocean and Steve Lacy. Is there a little intro for this, or are we just gonna go right into it?
Well, I was double checking because I'm like, wait, where's? Tell me if you don't find it up there, because I'm like, I don't know. Okay, Tyler the Creator. If you remember the Earl sweatshirt track from my first hip hop stream, Tyler is Earl's best friend and the leader of the now defunct artist collective Odd Feature, who were best known for having a very DIY punk rock aesthetic. Everything Tyler does is fully self-produced, also fully self-taught on the piano, and has been ever since his 2009 debut album at the age of 17. And even that one's a banger. This one is from his 2017 album Flower Boy, and it should be a lot more sorry-friendly than the last one.
Oh, boy.
Mike knew.
He knew. All right, DJ Mike, here we
go. He was
911.
17, so he was Dorian's age when he did this.
Mr. Lonely by Tyler the Creator. No, this was in 2017. He started in 17. This came out in 2017. So
this one is from his 2017 album. Oh, yeah. My bad. Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Lonely. Nice to meet you. Here's my number. You can reach me. 911. Call me sometime. 911.
Relationship song.
Yep. Some smoothness to it too.
Yeah. My thirst levels are infinity and beyond.
Yeah,
Sipping on that lemonade, I need a Beyonce. Can't see straight, these shades of Celine Dion. Sucks, you can't gas me up. Shout out to Elon Musk. Yeah, I got a sold out show.
Okay.
Can't gas me up. Get it, electric cars.
Oh, I was shout out to
Listen to the
Elon
speaker.
Musk. Yeah, I got a sold out show.
Hit me on my beat at that 911.
Call me sometime. Please make my line. You know I'll answer. Call me sometime. my life. Call me sometimes.
That's what Big was talking about.
What?
He quoted this in one of his
Oh,
records.
word?
Yeah.
Cool.
Chirp, 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 chirp. Woke up in the burbs with the birds. Where you used to come and get me with the swerve. These days you gotta find time, even the night light. Work line without 9.
5-car garage, full tank of the gas, but that don't mean nothing. Without you, shotgun in the passenger. I'm the loneliest man alive, but I keep on dancing to throw 'em off. I'm gonna run out of moves, cause I can groove to the blues. If you know any DJs, tell them to call me at 911.
I can't even lie, I've been lonely as fuck.
Lonely ass nigga.
I've been lonely as fuck.
Like, get
I
some
can't even
bitches or
lie, I've been
something.
lonely as
Weird
fuck.
ass nigga.
I can't even lie, I've been
lonely. They say the loudest in the room is weak, that's what they assume, but I disagree.
Wow.
I say the loudest in the room is probably the loneliest one in the room. Attention seeker, public speaker, oh my god, that boy there is so fucking lonely. Writing songs about these people who do not exist, he's such a fucking phony. One thing I know is that I want to win so bad, but I'm not Chicago. Heart is low, it's real low, it's so low, you can't lift me up, I'm like a lotto. From the start, it's been real dark, it's been so dark, I guess that you could call it chalkboard. I'm playing like Hasbro, I'm really sorry, call me Auto. Crashed a McLaren, bought me a Tesla, I know you sick of me talking about cars, but what the fuck else do you want from me? That is the only thing keeping me company. Purchasing things till I'm annoyed. These items just filling the void. Been feeling it for so long, I don't even know if it's shit I enjoy. Current back door, as an that door. My partner is a shack door. I need love. Do you got some I can borrow? Fuck it, I can find some tomorrow, but that never comes. Like a vasectomy, what have I done? I got the talent, the face, and the funds for myself long ago, but I haven't found someone. Mirror, mirror on the wall, the loneliest of them all. Cupid acting stupid, do you got another number I could call? Never had a pet, I never had a pet. There's more fish in the sea, but I never had a goldfish to begin with. I never had a dog, so I never been good with bitches, cause I never threw a ball bitch. I never had a pet, that's where it stems from, my bet. Treat me like direct deposit, checking on me sometime. Ask me how I'm really doing, so I never have to press that 911.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
You were right. This one was more story friendly.
Yeah, this is definitely your shit. But this is another one though. Lyrically, this song was hard, bro. Like lyrically,
Yeah.
he was going in there.
Yep.
This one was a lot more. This one had a lot more punchlines than the other ones did. Okay, so the theme of the song was about loneliness, which is really interesting because that's not a sentiment that is expressed a lot in rap.
Okay, I was gonna say literally this is the first time I've ever seen this expressed in this type of music.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean I haven't heard a ton of songs, but
yeah, rap. Well, because you know it reflects the culture. It was one of the reasons why when I discovered Korn and these other bands, I was like, yo, I was completely like enamored with it because here is this grown man talking about a different set of feelings.
Yeah.
You know, like the closest that it would come to was like you'd have these like the closest you could come to expressing real vulnerable emotions was when one of your friends died. So that was the only time. You were not allowed to feel bad if there was a breakup that happened. You weren't allowed to feel bad XYZ thing, like the shit that people feel bad about in Maine. I remember one time, like, when I really understood that people, like, live differently. This dude was crying hysterically in class. I was like,
why was he crying?
Oh shit, somebody died. And it turned out the Red Sox lost or whatever. And I remember looking at dude like, seeing him cry, get emotional. I mean, he wasn't like hysterical. He was choked up or whatever. And I remember being like, damn, he lost. I'm like, damn, everything's the same everywhere. He lost one of his folks. And then it was about the fucking Red Sox, man, losing to the Yankees. I was like, ooh. People don't cry about sports down there.
And the Red Sox lost a lot, right?
Well, that was the problem, is that you could never beat the Yankees. But like,
the man was holding on to hope, I guess.
It just showed me like, yo, like, I immediately went to, oh, he must have lost someone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so like that's not an you're only allowed to express that kind of emotion, like if you lose somebody. And obviously, even in the midst of that expression of pain, there is the, you know, still in all we live in, just dream about the get back. Like, so even in that situation, like what Jay was talking about when he was doing drugs in Harlem, because Harlem dudes and Brooklyn dudes had severe beef, like to this day. So he was like, on the uptown is what we used to call Harlem. So Harlem is uptown, right? So like Manhattan is downtown, because it's basically based on the street numbers. So 42nd Street, 14th Street, that's Manhattan. Once you get up to 161st, that's BK. Then you go beyond that, beyond Manhattan, all that, that's where you're gonna go to Harlem. So that's uptown. So Jay was from Brooklyn, but there a lot of the drug connects were happening from Harlem. So he had to go to Harlem a lot.
Oh, okay.
So he talked about on the uptown hot block is where the drugs are selling in uptown in Harlem. He got his side sprayed up. I saw his life slip in. This is a minor setback. So his friend got shot. He's saying, hey, I'm seeing him die. It's a minor setback. I saw his life slip in. This is a minor step back. Yo, still in all we live in. Just dream about the get back. That made him smile, though his eyes said, pray for me. I do you one better and slay these niggas faithfully. So the guy is being vulnerable, saying, pray for me.
Yeah.
And Jay is like, yeah,
I'll do something better.
We're
than
gonna
pray
go.
for you.
We're gonna like. So
I'll
you
exact
could not.
vengeance.
You're
Yeah.
not allowed to express any grief.
Yeah.
You know, and so even when you're expressing a vulnerable situation, you have to mix it in with, well, I'm gonna kill the people that did that to you. You know, and most of the time with unguided young men, if you lose somebody in that circumstance, most of the time those threats are real because, you know,
Yep.
your prefrontal cortex isn't developed, your decision making is ridiculous. I remember one time they jumped my friend in the and I wasn't there and people were talking all types of shit. I lost my mind, did some really dumb shit. Like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you guys have seen the picture of my school. There was fucking cameras everywhere, all types of shit. But that's where you are. So this right here, like talking about mental health and calling out loneliness, like that is huge.
Right, and he's calling it out in himself. That's what I thought was crazy. Like, it's one thing to be like talking about somebody else being lonely, but just say it for yourself. Like, and when he talked about the cars, like when he said the reason that he keeps talking about him is because he's so lonely, that man, that hurt.
Yeah, and
I know you're sick of me talking about cars, but what the fuck else am I supposed to do? What do you want from me? He said, that's the only thing keeping me company.
Right, the cars is the only thing keeping him company.
These items is filling the void, he said.
Right, and that's the thing is like,
what been filling it for so long, I don't even know if it's shit I enjoy. So he's feeling the stuff is never going to fill that.
He got famous at 17. So literally he was on his desk doing what we do, you know, like when we try to do songs and stuff. He did that, put it out there, and it blew up. So you got the 17-year-old, and notice he says that boy is lonely.
Yeah.
He's referring to himself. Like he can't, but some of the lyrics here, when I talk about punchlines though, like this is what I mean when I say punchline. It's an actual category and technique in rap. So look right here, where he says, I can't see straight. These shades are Celine Dion. Sucks you can't gas me up. Shout out to Elon.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you gas somebody up, it means you're
getting them pumped up.
Yeah, you're getting them pumped up. You're filling them with basically stories, you know, like to make them feel good.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
But notice he says, sucks you can't gas me up. Shout out to Elon. So Elon, his big claim to fame was going away from gasoline cars to electric cars.
Okay. All right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't gas me up. Shout out to Elon. Like, so that right there is like, that's what, you know, that's called a punchline. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, oh, okay, double entendre or whatever.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. And it's interesting too, because it was, 911 was the
why?
thing. But 911 doubles as a call for emergency too. Right? So 911, whatever.
That's the only thing I know it as. What else have we?
Well, you also have 911 in 9/11, and he's a New Yorker. But if you look at the last line in that song, it's almost a cry for help, because the very last line of the song, he says, "Ask me how I'm really doing, so I never have to press that 911."
He said, "Check in on me sometime."
Check in on me sometime. Yeah. Ask me how I'm really doing, so I never have to press that 911.
Yeah.
And it could also be a real subliminal, like, I'm gonna shoot myself, because a 9 would be a 9mm.
Oh.
Right? So check in on me so I never have to press that 9.
Oh.
So it could be. But if you notice in the voice, in the song, he emphasizes especially in that last line, he emphasizes the 9, and then later he says 1-1. So
yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, so this was a really, really good song, very vulnerable song about being alone and feeling lonely and the feeling of isolation, which was now I understand why he blew up so big, because if I was around as a kid, when Tyler, Creator came out, I probably would have done better for myself, because that's a guy that's able to express these feelings in a context where you're not allowed to express that. But I mean, Tyler, the Creator, is not very big in the gutter. Where we were from, he's not very big there. He's big I hate to say, among y'all, but he's not big in the gutter.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you can't have this kind of vulnerability when you're in and out of such...
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
For survive. Just if you look at it from an evolutionary perspective,
yeah.
If everybody adopted it at the same time, it would work. Mm-hmm. But because it's kind of like a you first type situation.
Right.
And like I said, I had to leave hip hop completely and find metal in order to ventilate.
Yep.
In order to ventilate that pain. So
wow.
Shout out to Tyler, the Creator.
I gotta read this. This part was this one. 5-car garage, full tank of the gas, but that don't mean nothing without you shotgun in the passenger. I'm the loneliest man alive. But I keep on dancing to throw him off.
9.5 for me. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. That's when I read stuff like
he's openly bisexual. He's autistic. He came out on this album. People still didn't want to believe it. Yeah. I mean.
Wow. Yeah. Obviously, hearing stuff like this, I'm like, okay, it's not just this Tyler guy that felt this way. I mean, there's lots of people that feel this way. There's lots of people in our community that feel this way. And I don't know. If you're hearing our voices right now and you just listen to this stuff, use this as us checking on you, because I don't want anything to happen to any of our people.
It's hard.
Yeah. So stick around.
Very, very hard. Very hard. But, who knows? He's probably saved a bunch of lives with this. A 9.5 for me. Would you give it?
And this is a 9.8.
DJ Mike gives it a 9.7. We got more hip-hop on
Mike,
the way.
We had basically the same score.
Stay where you are, dear listener. More hip-hop on the way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. Tyler, the Creator. Yeah, I could have done a lot of good listening to that. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
Ah!
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinceSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener.
All right, Brother Ali, before they called you white at this DJ stream. Wait a minute, do we have the ticker going across the top?
What's the ticker?
The name of this stream is the West Side East Side stream.
Oh.
The West Side East Side stream. Brother Ali, before they called you white is the name of the song. This was picked by DJ Franco, I believe. Wait a minute. No. Was this one? I think Franco had the last 3 songs. Yeah, Franco has the last 3 songs. This one, I think it's negative.
This is song 3, isn't it?
Yeah, but the last 3 songs on the stream.
So the first 3 songs, if the first 3 songs are Mike, then this would be a Mike song because the Brother Ali song is song
Negative
number 3.
song, 5 songs we played first. So I believe this is from Negative. But either way, this is what the person says. Whenever I hear people whine about how they don't think anti-racism is needed beyond just being racist, but beyond just not being racist, I think of this pretty much right away. The brother sums it up about as well as anyone ever could.
Oh boy.
Lyrics are up on Trello.
I wish M Deaf Fan was here to hear this.
Oh no. Before they called you white.
I'm sure he's gonna like it. Alright, don't be triggered! Don't be triggered! Here we go. Before they called you white, the West Side East Side stream by Negative Vibes and DJ Mike. Yes, dear listener.
Okay, so wait. So the last song, Mike didn't pick the last song. That was actually Negative that picked that one. So thank you, Negative.
Yeah. I kind of knew that to be true, but I've learned.
But I got a little confused.
I should have made that a bet.
I don't think I would have bet with you.
Before they called you white.
At what point did poor European people that used to rebel against the ones that forced them to work land they didn't own and die with nothing of their own, what was it that turned their hearts so that they start to identify with power even though they're powerless, identify with wealth even though they're broke? It's the invention of whiteness.
Call you white by white standards. Damn what they talking about. You man first. Stand and curse the dirty hand that first crafted the plan. Spread it through the land and shattered the damn earth. This is sickest system that ever existed. Since this earth's beginning commenced its twisting. How you convince a man with rare blood to bleed? Completely devalue what a human being means. Nobody called themselves white several centuries ago. They were living off the land with the trees. They were Dutch, they were Irish, they were German, they were Greek with culture, families, tradition and beliefs. And rich blood suckers saw new soil to seize. And they ain't about to get their hands dirty, cracker please. Swindled you to trade in your identity, showed you pie in the sky, promised you a peace with symbolic image in the scripture that you read. White holy angels and black evil demons. You were so starving that you started to believe it. Now you die colonizing for somebody else's greed. Don't you see the overseers are still in the field? Every breath of water and breathe is still in the jail. You will never own that farm or the prison for real. Terrified of the time when your victims rebel. Listen, you don't fear them, you fear the blood on your hand. All the ugly you done to that man, that woman, that child, that land, that sea, that sky. That they look you in the eye and demand that you tell them why. All them years whipping and lying and killing. Generations of poison and bombing and drilling. All designed to turn the hearts of your children to stone. Got post-traumatic slave master syndrome. How the hell are y'all gonna heal, be made whole? You identifying with the people in control. You can't throw a human in the bottom of a boat unless somebody got a damn chain around your soul. In that middle passage asking who got stole. A hot auction block where your blood ran cold. And every day a cop let them shots explode. You gon' have to find a way to regain your soul. I said that I can't see itself. It can't sit back, critique itself and peep itself. It need help. Take the sword for example. No matter how hard it can't carve its own handle. Said that I can't see itself. It can't sit back, critique itself and peep itself. It need help. Take the sword for example. No matter how hard it can't carve its own handle.
The inner city of our cities is like another country. The rules are different. It's almost like you need a passport there. The police treat people differently. When I lived out in the suburbs, if my car broke down on the highway and a state trooper pulled up behind me, I wouldn't have been scared. I'd have been glad. But young man after young man after young man had been beaten by the police, and the only way you know, you got to be with the people, and we live separated. We go in air-conditioned cars and we stick on our interstates and hang out with people just like us. Well, by God's grace, I was brought into this and seeing how race plays a part and how poverty plays a part. And my job is to go out to the American people.
Who was that?
I don't know. I'm assuming Genius will tell us who that person is. No? I don't know who that is. Okay.
Wow,
what he's articulating here is an idea called critical race theory. And that looked to be a quote from somebody in the ACLU.
Oh, you know what? I'll copy and Google search it. So
I've already done this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he's talking about Negative Vibes try to figure out where that quote was from, but he couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so here is, and you know, I was doing some work on this with some church people during the whole critical race theory push that the right was doing a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. They're gonna teach your kids critical race theory in schools and blah 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 blah. And you had all these people talking about critical race theory. They had no idea what critical race theory actually is. So when you're watching Tucker Carlson, you're gonna hear that critical race theory is the idea that white people are inherently horrible and they're terrible and we have to get rid of white people. We got to get rid of them. And so you would have these quotes where Tucker would say right here, like, whiteness is a disease, it's an illness or whatever. And Tucker would say, see, they want to get rid of you. This is what they're teaching your kids in school, that you're teaching your poor white kids that they're a disease and all the rest of it. And
there was something about the jobs too.
He was very successful. And I don't want to like disrespect Tucker's audience, but he was very, very successful in getting his audience to believe that that's what was happening. And most people are not going to be like, well, let me look at that myself. So here is what critical race theory actually is. And this is Encyclopedia Britannica. You know, I showed this to one of my. I said, you know, this is Encyclopedia Britannica. Can we at least agree that they might know what they're talking about? It's an intellectual and social movement and loosely organized framework of legal analyses based on the premise. Here is the premise: that race is not a natural, biologically grounded feature of physically distinct groups of human beings, but a socially constructed, culturally invented category that is used to oppress and exploit people of color. Wow. Critical race theorists hold that racism is inherent in the law and the legal institutions of the United States insofar as they function to create and maintain social, economic, and political inequalities between whites and non-whites, especially African Americans. Critical race theorists are generally dedicated to applying their understanding of the institutional or structural nature of racism to the concrete, if distant, goal of eliminating all race-based and other unjust hierarchies. Okay. The salient point here is that critical race theorists do not believe that race is an actual thing. Okay, they believe that race is not a biologically grounded feature of physically distinct subgroups of human beings, but a social construction. Okay, so then race and colors become, and we talk about this, something is color coded. So like, for example, our traffic communication is color coded.
Yeah.
Red means stop, green means go. And so what the critical race theorists are saying is that these people color coded our society.
Oh no.
Red is an arbitrary color, green is an arbitrary color. There's nothing about red that says you should stop.
Right.
That's a fiction that all of us are agreeing to believe.
Exactly.
In order for society to run. And so their argument is, look, race is not real. It's a fiction that we have poured into society in order to generate a certain kind of result, namely the one color-coded group on top and the other color-coded group at the bottom perpetually in a systemic fashion. Okay? So what the critical race theorists were saying is they're saying, listen, there's no such thing as race. Race is a color code. It's a societal color code that's designed to keep certain people down and keep certain people up. And so that's what critical race theory is, and that's what was being discussed at the height of academia, all the rest of it. And Ben Shapiro, who's an actual law student, knew this. And so he wasn't saying the same stuff that Tucker was doing, but he would never go out and correct him. This is one of the things that really, that to me was the end of me in the right wing.
Oh, really? Really, that was it.
Well, it wasn't the fact that they were racist, because I don't believe that every right winger is racist. I'm talking about at the institutional level, because I believe all of these organizations, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, including progressives, I believe they're all racist. But my problem is how explicitly they lied about this topic in order to generate support in their voter base and whatever. They were willing to lie, and they literally came out and said, we're lying about this to get people not even to think about it. James Lindsay said that on Twitter.
Wow.
So that was my problem. My problem wasn't like the racial aspect of it. Like, my problem is you were knowingly lying about what people actually believed. And then I would post a video from the woman who actually coined the term critical race theory, where she said this stuff. Wow. It didn't matter. All this is just some liberal blah. I'm like, what are you talking? This is the person that coined the term. What do you mean? Nope, Tucker knows more about it than her. Okay. That to me, I was like, okay. So like, it's very important, because when you hear things like we need to eliminate whiteness or whiteness is a disease, they're not talking about white people. They're saying the color code, the color coding that our society has is diseased.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And when you are, this is why this is why I said, like, this is about power and human sinfulness. If black people were at the top of the pile in America, we would do the same thing. Right? So I don't believe that there's something uniquely wrong with white people.
Yep.
There is something wrong with white people. That's the same thing that's wrong with the black folks who sold their own people into slavery.
Yep.
It's called the sinful nature.
Yep.
And so for me, it's like, okay, how is the sinful nature going to express itself? Well, here's a mathematical formula. 100% of the time that a group of human beings has had power over another group of human beings, they have always abused it. 100% of the time. There's never been a time in human history where you had a minority group of people that were not exploited and treated unfairly by the other group. Go ahead.
Well, if you think about, like, parents with children, like, that is a group where we, like, the adults have the power over the kids. They have no, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that relationship does work because parents love their children, and so they want the best for them.
I agree, but
so
I still say though that parents, even parents that we would not look upon as abusive, but I still think that dynamic is still there. Let me give you an example.
Well,
I told Orion, man, get out of here, because I was coming out of the shower, and I don't like kids upstairs when I'm in the shower or whatever. So I got out. I said, man, get out of here. And 2.5, 3-year-old Orion looks at me and says, do not talk to me like that. And I said, what would have happened if that would have happened at your house?
Oh, I would have got in trouble for sure.
That's what I mean.
Never been able to say something.
That's what I mean. I apologized to him because I was wrong.
Yes, I'm just saying.
But the dynamic is that does not happen.
No, it doesn't. I'm just saying that when you have relationships like we can't eliminate all power structure relationships. I mean, the world has to have designated leaders. I mean, we can't just have everybody just running around with no leadership.
I didn't say we need to eliminate. What I said was every time that there is a power inequality, the group in power is always going to use that power for their benefit at the expense of the other.
Right, and that's why I was saying
100% of the time.
I think, well, eventually we have to get to the point where if there's, don't you think, well, what's the fix?
Well, I'm a Christian. The fix is Jesus. He's the only
love. God is love.
Well, Jesus.
Yeah.
Because unbelievers love their kids too. But they don't have a paradigm for how love actually works out in the real world. So when I have a 3-year-old that's looking at me with a very angry face saying, do not talk to me like that, somebody has to arbitrate between me and that child. Who's right? Who should apologize? Now, the normal decision is, well, the parent is right because we're parents and we set all the rules and kids don't set rules for society. So what I'm saying is, in that moment, I was misusing my power and authority over that 2-year-old. But the 2-year-old is able to advocate for himself and say, don't talk to me like that. And the reason I apologize to him is because God was on his side. I was wrong. The scripture makes it clear, don't exasperate your children. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't rebelling. I was the one with the bad attitude. He has every right to look at, and point his finger at me and say, don't talk to me like that. What I'm saying is, if you don't have a third-party arbitrator above that, I'm going to go, get the fuck out of here. You're 2. You're lucky you're not in trouble. Get out of here. Which is how most parents would handle that conversation. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, anytime you have a power dynamic that's unequal, the person in power is absolutely going to abuse that power unless there's somebody above them to tell them you were wrong and the person that's weaker than you is right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, I'm with it. I'm with it.
My point in saying that is to say there is nothing wrong with white people or men or, cis white males, which is like the group now that we're all supposed to hate, is cis white males because they have all this privilege. Mm-hmm. Well, they do have privilege and they do have the most power in the world as it stands right now. But that doesn't mean that there's something particularly wrong with them. It just means that they have the power that affords them the least amount of accountability. And if we switched it, we would do the same thing. Yeah. And I know that because while I agree there's lots of men shoving women into abortion clinics, there's still women going out and saying, hey, it's my choice.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's that power imbalance. So it's like, hey, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he even said, like, who told you? He said something about, like, who told you that there were some humans better than other humans or something like that. Which is a crazy line. So, yeah, right there. It says, how can you convince man with red blood to bleed completely devalue what a human being means? That's a crazy line because the question is, he doesn't say what a human being is. He said, you're devaluing what a human being means. That's something completely different. All right? That's something completely different. Because you're saying that there is something metaphysically, transcendentally important about human beings. You're saying that I mean something. A rock is something. It doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. You have to pour that meaning into the rock. So you have to say, this is the Liberty Rock, or this is Plymouth Rock, or this is an altar. And so an external force comes and pours meaning into the object. Okay. What is a human being? I am a human being. What is Vin? I am an object, but I have meaning. But the question is, from whence came that meaning? I could say the settlers poured meaning into Plymouth Rock. I could say the girlfriend pours meaning into the diamond ring. okay, so if I'm a human being, where did my meaning come from? Not my value. Not my ontology, but what I mean. I mean something. And that's a very, very important line. But we have an understanding of ontology and meaning in the term image of God. So what that means is, the meaning that I have is when I see Tasco walking around, or when I hear Tasco talking, or when I hear Emmy talking, I am hearing somebody who represents God on the earth. That's what they mean. She means God on the earth in the way that she reflects God. People have actual meaning, and that's why there's so much depth to each human being. That's why there's so much value to the human being. It's because we mean something. But if you live in a universe where there is no creator, then who's pouring meaning into the object?
Right.
Every object that means something, right, that has a person who pours that subjective meaning into it, and it has to be external. And that's why at the end of the song, notice what he says. At the end of the song, he says, the eye can't see itself. It can't sit back, critique itself, and peep itself. It needs help. Take the sword, for example. No matter how hard, it can't carve its own handle.
I like that part.
Right? So what he's saying is, we need somebody from outside to arbitrate. The eye can't see itself. The mouth can't hear itself. Right? I agree, Tyler. I agree. We need somebody from outside to tell us what a human being is as far as meaning goes. And if in the minute that you lose that person or that objective being that's above the object to pour meaning into it, the minute you lose that, you get Holocaust, you get millions of abortions, you get sexual assault, you get racism, you get all of that, because you don't know what a human being means. If I knew what a human being meant, I could never sexually assault a woman. I'm going to go and sexually violate somebody who represents God on the earth in a way that nobody has before or since. Men, if they saw a woman walking down the street with that vantage point, would be more inclined to worship her than to lust after her. That should be the problem. The problem should be a worship problem, like, yo, this girl represents God, but she's not God. Those are the problems that we should have, but those aren't the problems we have, because we've taken away that objective source of meaning. And so now what happens, if you see a girl walking down the street, her meaning becomes altered. So now she is not an image bearer of God who, if you knew her, you would find something out about God that you could not find out any other way. But you're not looking at her that way. You're looking at her as, oh, the meaning of this girl is the satiation of my lust. That's what she means. So women represent the fulfillment of my sexual desire. Right? Instead of saying women represent the fulfillment, because God is so big that one person, aside from Christ, cannot embody all the attributes of God. He needs to democratize that around billions of people, and she's one of them. Holy shit, I got to get to know her. That's a completely different way of looking at the world. And it covers race, it covers all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was a very, 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 very insightful song. I loved the song. It was great. It was deep. It was challenging. Song of the night so far.
Yeah,
it's a 9.8 for me.
What I like about it is when stuff is, like when he said over here, right here, you can't throw a human in the bottom of a boat unless someone got a damn chain around your soul. Like, just recognizing that the reason that people do these horrible things is because they're in a horrible place as it is. Like, you can't do but we talked about that, where every human being has the capacity to do these kinds of to do great evil things, but we also have the capacity for great good. Like, there's a Facebook group, what was it, the Milk of Human Kindness, what is that Facebook group that
I forgot, but yeah,
it's I was hoping people would be able to find it, but it's what's the name of it? Basically, people are just like people doing good things for other people. I don't know if it's just in New York or all over the place, but stuff like that is really encouraging to see, because we all have darkness that we deal with and that we have to fight against. And there's still capacity for good. You know. Anyway.
Myron says, I'm a Christian, and the little boy's still not going to point his finger at me at 2 or 3 or 16. I can imagine what he'll be saying. If I don't come in the bathroom, then that's the rule. If a supervisor says, don't be on your phone at work, and he catches him, he's going to put his finger and say, don't talk to me like that. Well, no, my son's never going to work for a supervisor. But
Facts.
I do believe, though, that some of what you're saying is valid. Here's the issue, though. I could make a rule that says that you can't incidentally be up here when I'm coming out of the bathroom. But that rule would not be for the betterment of everybody in the house. It would just be for me. And biblically speaking, I can only use my authority for the betterment of everybody around me. So I can't just willy-nilly. I don't get to willy-nilly make up rules because I'm the parent.
Right.
And so it just so happened that you caught me in a rule that I've, because the thing is, there are bad rules. Right? And biblically speaking, you get accountable for making bad rules. So it's a little bit more complex than that in our household. I'm not going to tell you how to run your household. I just believe that everybody in the household has to be held to the exact same standard. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. And I'm raising up a black man in America, and I need that child to not be afraid of anyone, and he respects me for sure.
Yep.
But I also need that child to know people are gonna respect you, bro.
Yep.
Like you are deserving of respect, and people are not going to give it to you, and sometimes you have to assert yourself and take it. I've been in a lot of situations in the corporate world where people at the corporate level said a whole bunch of crazy shit to people, and they had to eat it because they had the authority. And that's why I'm saying my sons aren't going to be working for anybody, because this is what I'm saying. Like, we're so used to, in this culture, abusing our authority. We're just so used to it that we don't feel that we need to justify any of our exercise of authority, because God gave us that authority. I believe that my authority has to be justified. I believe that I have to if I'm going to use my authority, I have to have a biblical address for why I'm exercising that authority. And I don't see anywhere in Scripture where I get to make a house rule based on a personal preference and then hold people accountable and then discipline them for it off of my personal preference. That's crazy.
It wasn't the house rule necessarily. It was just, you were telling him he needed to go downstairs, but the way that you said it, like, he felt hurt by. And I think that one thing, like, before, like, I used to completely think, whoever the last commenter was that we pulled up on the screen, I used to think exactly like that. Like, I felt like, I was more traditional, I guess, by, like, American standards of how to raise children. Yeah. But the advantage of this style of parenting is that it comes from a real understanding that I'm liable to make mistakes and fail and hurt my kids, and you're liable to do that. Every single human being is, because we're all flawed. So we are going to hurt our kids. And what we're trying to do, though, is we're trying to say, okay, if I know that because I'm a sinful person and I'm somebody that's not a perfect person, that I'm going to do things that I'm going to fail my kids in certain ways, and I'm going to make them sad, and I'm going to hurt their feelings. Like, if I'm doing that without realizing it, but it's coming from, maybe you were rushing, or maybe you know what I mean, like, why was the patient, why instead of saying, hey buddy, it's time for you to go downstairs, why did you say it like that? Like, I don't know what was going on with you when that was happening, but the fact that we allow our kids to stand up for themselves and speak up for themselves, it gives us the opportunity to right that wrong, because you don't want your kids going through, a lot of us have, like, a certain event that we look back on, and we think, like, that really hurt us, maybe from our parents. Well, maybe they were intentionally trying to hurt you. I'm not speaking for every parent, but there's lots of parents that are just trying to raise their kids. They're not trying to hurt their kids. Certainly not something that they would want them to still be hurt at the age of 35. So doing this style of parenting opens it up for us to be able to hear from our kids and for them to be able to say something, so we can catch that right now. We don't have to wait until he's 35 for him to say, man, the way you used to talk to me would really hurt me. Like, we can address that now, and then you can apologize to him, and then, so it actually works out better if you can understand that we're all going to make mistakes, and I want the door open so my kids can tell me if I was off, because I know I'm going to be off, and I know I'm liable to justify my offness because I feel a certain way. So
yeah, for me, the principle is just that I get from this song, and just what I get from my Bible, is that anytime there's a power imbalance, left to ourselves, we're going to abuse it. We're going to use it wrongly.
Yeah.
And the degree to which the abuse of power happens obviously happens on a scale and in degrees. And we need somebody from outside to arbitrate. That's the issue. I believe that authority and respect has to be justified consistently. Not earned consistently, but it has to be justified consistently. I don't get to just make up arbitrary rules and make, create rules that make my life easier and then train my kids. Hey, if somebody's in authority, they get to talk to you however they want. I'm not going to train my kids that. Especially my black kids. My black boys are not going to be taught, hey, somebody's in authority, you just bow down and do what they say. No. No, sir.
That won't be happening.
No, sir. All right. And I just got pulled over today about a couple hours ago. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't afraid. I'm not afraid of anybody. However, I comported myself respectfully, and so did the officer. And if the officer would have comported herself disrespectfully, then she would have heard about it. Ask Officer Holtz.
There you have it.
We don't play over here. This is a 9.4 for me.
Yeah, I would match you on a 9.4. Good score.
Brother
Good
Ali
score.
would agree, though. He'd point to Allah. Yeah, he probably would, inshallah. Okay, guys, we got more hip-hop coming for you on the other side of the break. Good discussion, guys. We got more on the way. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them to buy our merch. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. This is me being lonely and by myself. We're doing something a little bit different, dear listener. This is Hip Hop Night. We are a heavy metal reaction channel.
We are.
However,
tonight's different.
We are a community first channel. Our community is the Village. Facebook.com.
We are DJ
driven. Vin and Sorry. And so we're very, very interactive. Our DJs are people that get 4 songs minimum, gets you the entire night. And there's also alliances, all that stuff you heard in the commercial. And we've got 2 individuals. This is a West Side, East Side stream. We had DJ Mike, you see right there. And then we got DJ Negative Vibes, you can see right there. And they've combined forces in order to do this night. Okay, so the next song is Illuminati Will Not Save You by this fella by the name of King Little G. King Little G. Illuminati won't save you. Let's do this shit. Let's go. Woo! Did you see?
I'm the black sheep of the family, graffiti up on the alley, an ambulance passing another tragedy happened in Cali. All I wanted was a role model. My father worked hard, so tell me who the fuck was I supposed to follow? It's hard to swallow, my stomach's hollow, knowing I only had top ramen to eat tomorrow. I had no problem drug dealing. I get mad when I think of all the bullshit that I was feeling. I believe my father really broke a happy home, left us stranded in the dark for a fucking whore. I pray to God it wouldn't happen, but I was ignored. If it ain't my family, what the fuck I'm living for? No looking forward, no looking back, no hesitation when I put my hands on that strap. My music is the pain in my mother's eyes. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Illuminati won't even save you from all the struggle I survived. 1 shot, 2, 3, 4, can you feel the vibe? This is for my mother's pain and everything she sacrificed. I'm still mad at my brother's chick. I can't believe she snitched on him. Goddamn, you on some other shit. I learned my lesson, never trust a bitch. I'm thinking karma's a motherfucker while staring at my rubber grip. My close homies on the run again. My phone's tapped, I think I'm being followed by these undercover pigs. I think they wanna set me up on some sucker shit. Snitching will never happen forever, be the opposite. Got my enemies saying that motherfucker's sick. L.A., Chi-Town, even Brooklyn. We got something in common if you wondering. Hustle hard till the day you pay your mother's rent. Ain't that the real reason why we started hustling? Besides the cars and the fame and trying to fuck a bitch. My music is the pain in my mother's eyes. Stranded in the ghetto is something that's never televised. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Illuminati won't even save you from all the struggle I survived. 1 shot, 2, 3, 4, can you feel the vibe?
I like this.
This is for my mother's pain and everything she sacrificed. My president is talking about some bullshit again. They keep taking education money from the kids. I've never seen them once ever speak about the homeless or ever talk about the gang-related feeling hopeless. In case you didn't notice, the youngest to the oldest, homies never realized till that eviction notice. It's time for us to grow up. The real world's afraid of us. That's why they never show love. You know what they label us. Wish I could just ignore the world with an ounce of weed and tell the people in the ghetto they could count on me. Now dim the motherfucking lights, put me in front of a crowd who applauds when I mention Christ. My music is the pain in my mother's eyes. Stranded in the ghetto is something that's never televised. People struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Illuminati won't even save you from all the struggle I survived. 1 shot, 2, 3, 4, can you feel the vibe? This is for my mother's pain and everything she sacrificed.
Who is this guy?
I don't know, he's good.
King Lil G.
Yeah, he's good.
King Lil G from South Central LA. You're saying he's good. What was good about it?
Well,
what did you like?
I liked
What do you know about it?
I liked the feel, the vibe, the sound of it, the way that he was rapping. I also liked some of the things that he was saying. He was very, which I guess rap usually is pretty, I don't know. It just seemed kind of honest. Like he was saying that it's not people struggling in the ghetto, something never televised. Like it's looking one way, but was he saying like, it's not really like the way that it's shown is not. It's worse than that.
Yeah, there's a
know.
phrase that says that the revolution won't be televised.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I think he was.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was picking up off of that that line.
That's something we learned in Revo Week, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Well, it came up in Revo Week. I'm sure you've known about that.
I grew up with that phrase.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you didn't grow up with that phrase, but that I'm not. Okay. So this was about the struggle.
Yeah.
The struggle in the ghetto and the perspective of a guy who sold drugs and got in the middle of all the shit, as it were. Mm-hmm. Let's see what he says. I'm the black sheep of the family, graffiti up on the alley, an ambulance passing, another tragedy happened in Cali. All I wanted was a role model. My father, that's crazy. He said his mom, his dad broke their home, went off with a whore or whatever. Yeah, dads in hip hop don't do very well.
And that's what helps create that artist.
Ready to die while I act that way. Pop Dukes left Mom Dukes. Oh, that was the line where Biggie drops the F word. Pop Dukes left Mom Dukes to faggot took the back way. Now, the only reason I'm using the word is because, again, that's an example of wordplay.
Right.
Because he took the back way. Pop's Duke left Mom Dukes to faggot took the back way. So that's relevant for the rhyme scheme. But yeah, man, dads don't do very well in hip hop. What was it? Pac.
Why do you think that is?
Talking about his dad, and when he died, I didn't cry because my anger wouldn't let me mourn for a stranger. So they just don't do well in rap, and we're the generation of, when mass incarceration really hit during the crack era and all that. Big, this guy, me, we're the generation after that. So, we're the generation that, okay, what are the results of mass incarceration of black men? And I think it's very, very fascinating when you look at what's happening right now in the conversation relative to masculinity. When they're talking about the manosphere, guys like Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, whatever.
Yep.
People are starting to recognize that at a cultural level, we have a man problem, and not in the sense that men are the problem, but going actually underneath that and realizing that there are no father figure. The archetype of the father figure is gone. And all men are hearing in the media is that they're horrible. Now, Jordan Peterson and the rest of those guys in Manosphere, most of the time, it's appealing to men. And I remember when all this stuff first happened, with Jordan Peterson and all the rest. I was intrigued by Jordan Peterson because of his intellectualism. But he kind of blew up overnight, and I remember he was talking at Liberty University, and we know somebody we know somebody that's
Yep.
And the guy and the kid interrupted the whatever and breaks down and starts crying.
Yep.
And he says, "I'm unwell, I need help." And Peterson was the first guy there. And then the other guys showed up and they started praying over this dude. But it changed my that moment changed so many things for me. Like the whole incel thing. Like we've got shows, and this is one of those people always ask, like, do you regret whatever? Because you've got thousands of videos. There was one particular show where I was dealing with one of these folks. And if I could have taken it back, I'd have taken the whole thing back. The context of the show was, do we still need feminism? And this guy was calling and saying no. So I'm always going to default to the underdog, not realizing that
there was something really major
kid,
going on.
There's a lot of dudes with a lot of father wounds, and one of the things that really gets me really angry is when I hear progressives who don't have children talk about mothers and fathers as if they're just interchangeable pieces. As if they're not. No.
No, they're not.
Mothers are necessary. Fathers are necessary.
Yep.
I understand people have their ideologies, and so if you admit that mothers and fathers are necessary for the healthy development of the child, it has implications otherwise. But I've been on the Middle America channel, and I've actually had people try to tell me that a kid's going to be fine if he grows up without a dad. I'm like, how many kids do you have? None. So all these like mega progressive people that tell us we don't need fathers and all the rest of it, like, no. If we don't have fathers and we don't have strong men, you get Andrew Tate. I'm not going to say you get Jordan Peterson, because y'all are just crazy relative to Jordan Peterson. He's not as bad as you think as you guys are saying that he is. It's just crazy to me when people like Anna Kasparian or whatever have the nerve to criticize Jordan Peterson's intellectual bona fides. I think that's just insane. Shout out to Brazil. But yeah, they hate Jordan Peterson. I mean, mostly they hate Jordan Peterson because of trans stuff. Because that's how he got famous. Was he spoke out against having to be forced to use other people's pronouns, even though he used the pronouns of his students when they were in class. But you know, all the rest of it. But
oh, really? That's
but what people don't understand about Jordan Peterson is that when you read his books and you listen to him talk, he's telling young men how to be men. And he's starting at a real basic level. Get up and make your bed.
Yep.
And I had my older brother. So I'm sure I do have it because you don't know what you don't know. But the wound of the father wound is less so for me because I had my older brother who really, to me, functions like a father figure. I mean, he was just so mature. You know, he was the reason. I mean, I didn't follow his path when I was down there, but he was the reason that among my friends, I was the one with the head on the shoulders, which is insane to me. But he's so I don't know if I've had that or not. You know, my older brother was the one that took me to my first job interview. He was also the one that gave me my first pep talk when I didn't get it. Oh. He was the one that told the judge I had a 4.0 GPA. When I got jammed up and I had a shit public defender, my older brother got up there and took it. Like he always. So my older brother was my father figure. So I didn't necessarily grow up with that feeling of like, who's gonna guide me? Who can I talk to? Who's gonna teach me how to be a man? All that shit. Like, that was mostly my older brother. Like, he didn't really give me a lot of advice about girls because we engage with girls a little bit differently. But other than that, like going here and he's talking about drug dealing, he's talking about eating ramen and all the rest of it. All the locus of all of that is losing his father. So that has so many ramifications on a man, and that the only thing positive I can get from this manosphere stuff is hopefully people are going to start having a cultural conversation and go, why is it that these men are attracted to a guy like I think Andrew Tate is a perfect example, just horrible human being. From what I know, he could be completely innocent of everything, although he's admitted to having girls do cam work for him or whatever. Yeah. And I have no respect for dudes that do that either. Yeah. So, you're out there exploiting women. Like, man, fuck you, Andrew. I hope you rot in a Romanian prison. But there's no conversation about why, and it's because we vilified men in this culture, especially the people that Jordan Peterson appeals to. Yeah. We don't. Well, I don't care about why cis white males are hurt and why they need a father figure and why they have a got a generation of kids raising themselves. We don't need to talk about that. It's just men are bad, and Jordan Peterson. It's very satisfying to beat up on cis white men. Mm-hmm. It's very, very satisfying, I'm sure.
But it's not going to get us anywhere.
It's not going to get us anywhere.
Right.
It's not going to get us anywhere. It's like, we got to figure out why these cultural phenomena are happening the way that it happens, because I'm sorry, man, like dudes are in serious pain, and don't worry about it, as you can hear, dudes are in serious pain, and they're not being given the tools to deal with it. Now as a black person, it's even worse, because on top of just the exigencies of life, we've got an entire society and system that's designed specifically to target us and put us in these facilities. I mean, when I got jammed up by the police, it wasn't because I had a gun in my hands. It was because I spent too much time at a bookstore getting a book of poetry for my brother, and the cop, he had it out for me. And it was obvious that he had it out for me, and he literally got me a summons. I was 2 blocks away from school in a fire drill. So that and other experience, all my friends have had them. You got an entire system that's designed to get you, bro. You got an entire system that's designed to get you, on top of the fatherlessness issue. That's why I have very little pity for these. When I hear people talk about getting triggered, all these disparate groups that get triggered, like, it's not that I don't care, it's just I don't justify it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's hard for me, I talk about this, like the trans person, they were getting misgendered in the GameStop, so they just blew up the GameStop. They just trashed it all over the place. I'm like, that's an indication of your privilege. That you think that because somebody called you something you didn't want to be called, you get to tear up the store. That's privilege.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, like, come on. Like, you're 6'3", you've got a very angular face. Your upper body is not transitioned. I'm sorry. And because this kid made a series of mistakes, you get to completely destroy GameStop, fucking on camera, threaten this kid,
that kid was clearly nervous,
threaten
too.
to physically assault him, all types of shit.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Right.
Could you imagine if I did that in a GameStop, somebody slipped up, called me a nigger, I just destroyed everything, threatened to beat the hell out of the guy? What do you think would happen to me when the cops showed up?
We all know what would happen.
So my point is, songs like this are important because it's highlighting, you got a generation of people that have a massive father wound because of mass incarceration. Mm-hmm. And so if Jordan Peterson is necessary for society at large, what do you think is going on in our culture? And that's why black folks are just killing each other, like, because they're full of anger and they're full of pain. They don't know where to ventilate it, and like it's because a lot of them are so defeated mentally. I talk about this a lot, where the book of Exodus opens up with the Israelites enslaved to the Egyptians.
Yep.
And it opens up with two Hebrew slaves fighting each other.
Yep.
And Moses shows up, and he it doesn't show up with them fighting. It actually shows up with an Egyptian slave master beating the hell out of some Israeli. Right. So Moses shows up and kills the guy that did that. The next day, the Hebrew slaves are fighting each other. Moses says, "Don't fight him, he's your brother." And the guy turns around and says to Moses, "Are you going to kill us like you killed the Egyptian?" That's a very fascinating story, because you got people enslaved under brutal, harsh treatment. Not like the nice treatment that white people gave us. You got these slaves under brutal treatment, and you could tell their spirits aren't completely broken because they're fighting each other. Why wouldn't you fight your oppressor? Farrakhan asks this. He says, "Listen, you guys are killing each other on camera. Yeah. You guys are doing all time. You're doing broad daylight hits, and then as soon as these white folks in the blue car shows up, y'all out of there."
Maybe it's a sort of defeated feeling that, like, you can't beat all of Egypt,
Correct.
but you could fight your brother
Correct.
and win.
You can't beat Egypt because they've enslaved you, but you still have all this pain because you're a slave. So where is it going to go? It's going to go to your fellow brother.
Right.
Like, if these people ever figured out, why am I shooting this guy? He looks like me. He's not oppressing me. We have a problem in this country. Shit would change tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It would change tomorrow. That's why there are certain groups in this country that have a vested interest in keeping black people at each other's throats. It's a lot safer for a lot more people. So, love the song because it hit up on the real issue, which is in the ghetto. It's fatherlessness, and why there's fatherlessness. There's a multitude of issues there, but there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Some of the lines were like when he said, "My music is a pain in my mother's eyes." Mm-hmm. Oh man. Just some of the lines were just pretty deep. I really liked this song. I'm gonna actually give this one a 9.7. Do we have audio issues?
Amy alluded to that, so we'll see. Being indigenous in a white man's world can be worse. I'd rather be intimidated to the whites than being ignored altogether. We've been in invisible society for eons. Yeah, I hear you. Especially when these indigenous girls turn up missing and nothing happens, and then some, no disrespect, but some white girl turns up missing. The entire country's got to look under their couches and shit to find her. But the indigenous girl is missing. It's business as usual. We don't even know.
Yeah, right.
Okay. A roundtable on why men don't matter anymore needs to happen. I agree. I think that'd be a good Middle America conversation. We need 2 more guests for that, Dan. But yeah, once we get 2 more guests for that, let's do a show on that for sure. For sure. Okay, what'd you give the song? 9.4 for me.
9.7. 9.7 for me.
Excellent. We shall return. More hip hop.
We'll be
Deeper
right
than you
back.
thought, losers. Deeper than you thought. We shall return. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that
You
off.
can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
Buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst of a metalhead reacting to hip hop stream.
The West Side East Side stream.
West Side East Side stream brought to you by the big homies.
Yes, we have DJ Mike, and we also have DJ Negative Vibes on tonight. So the next song on our list is EMC Sinatra, Empty Pockets.
I don't know why you keep calling it silly. I didn't think it was silly. I thought it was pretty deep there, Kai. I don't know what you mean by silly. But, okay, let's do it.
Oh, yeah, I was like, I thought maybe there was another email because he had sent the lights. So I was like, maybe that's what he was referencing for silly. But I didn't even think the lights were silly. So I was a little confused by that, too.
All right, let's do it. Empty Pockets, EMC Sinatra, let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, man, the horn again. The horn again.
Whoa, it goes back.
I remember when I didn't have a place to sleep. Looking back at when I didn't have no food to eat. My parents argue when I don't know how long I could take it. I'd be a coward if I broke to every situation, but I made it, so could you. Look at what they put me through. Breathing in a living hell, but I don't want no different shoes. These streets are cold, come walk with me through Alaska. My mom left my dad, so for 3 years they called me bastard. I was going through it tough, I ain't never had enough, but it turned me to a young man that just don't give a fuck. While they searching for the best high, throwing up the west side, I'm stressing over here trying to figure how to get shit right. And ever since I lost my dog, it's getting hard to cope. But he gon' live through me and I'ma make it for us both. My girl's been telling me I ain't the same, I know it's true, but tell me where your head will be if your friend died in front of you.
I don't wanna feel this pain no more. These blue skies don't feel the same no more. I'm trying to go, they wanna bring me down. I swear they don't wanna see me smile. I don't wanna feel this pain no more. These blue skies don't feel the same no more. I'm trying to go, they wanna bring me down. I swear they don't wanna see me smile.
I shed a tear for every kid that's in a broken home. I put my fist up in the air for every soldier gone. Cause ever since they took my brother, man, my life's been different. And plus my girl just left me cause she said I'm acting distant. But what the fuck do they expect from me? feeling so alone. At home I feel it especially with Matilda right next to me, crying while I would listen to songs. The music would set me free. Write it down, Jay was telling me the pen is there to set me free. So I scribbled my misery and it went down in history. Inspire people listening. I still had empty pockets, but I felt rich off life. If I could start from scratch, then I relive it twice. We on this earth to serve a purpose, then we pass away. If God would answer all my questions, I stayed asking for days. And even though I never hear him, I just know I'll be okay. I told my sister it's alright, one day we both gon' be okay.
I don't wanna feel this pain no more. These blue skies don't feel the same no more. I'm tryna go, they wanna bring me down. I swear they don't wanna see me smile. I don't wanna feel this pain no more. These blue skies don't feel the same no more. I'm tryna go, they wanna bring me down. I swear they don't wanna see me smile.
That was EMC Sinatra.
Yeah.
That
I'm with it.
Yeah, that one was interesting because I was talking about the hip hop I grew up with.
Yeah.
And the only time you could express any sort of sadness was when when you lose one of your folks. Mm-hmm. One of your folks dies.
And then
but
here's the
he was talking about, I don't know. It looked like he was talking about his mental health overall,
yeah,
and about how people didn't want to. So this is this is what I'm saying about like the new generation of hip hop. They're not as lyrical. I'll agree. And I judge whether or not somebody's lyrical by whether or not I think I'm as good or better than them.
Okay.
So if I'm as good or better than you, then I feel like you're a trash rapper.
Oh.
Okay, but okay. So here's what I'll say about this generation. There's a lot of rappers in just this generation where I'm like, me and him are pretty close. I you know, or the cold like Minnesota guy. But what I will say about this generation of rap is they seem to be a lot more vulnerable and open about their emotions.
That's so good, yeah.
Than the rap that I grew up on.
Yeah.
So that I could say to the new generation is a real kudos, because I feel like we were limited growing up as far as like the range of I feel like we could have had some real classics by some, like if Jay-Z would have allowed himself to be really vulnerable. He's got a song called Lucky Me, but again, it's still more, bravado. Told the judge didn't budge, it was him or me. I wasn't trying to be hard, but I'm guilty as charged.
I thought he did one in response to Beyonce.
Yeah, but that wasn't very like raw.
Okay.
I mean, it was basically him saying, I made a mistake, I'm sorry, that type of thing. But it wasn't really like,
okay.
You couldn't like get like this guy. You could tell he's been through some shit.
Yeah.
And he's,
well, that's what I was gonna say. Like
contemplating.
maybe lyrically he's not super deep, or maybe he's not as good. But what he communicated when he was doing his lyrics, like I felt like I was in the room with someone in that situation. Like I felt like I was talking to like I was hearing from a real person. So I thought he did really communicating that.
Damn, when I saw King in the title, I was hoping it would be King Von. I cannot. I don't even understand myself, like the draw of a guy like Von, why he's so fascinating. I was just thinking about him today. Rest in peace, King Von. Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. So sad. So sad. Yeah, so he's talking about like the things that he's been through. I don't want to feel this pain anymore. These guys don't seem the same anymore. I'm trying to guard it, but I want to bring me down. As you go up, he says, he didn't have a place to sleep, didn't have a place to eat, and I'd be a coward if I broke down every situation. That's a... Yeah, go ahead.
I thought the saddest part was, obviously it's the relationship part, guys. But when he was saying like he had lost his friend or whatever, and then like he was so different that then she broke up with him because he was too distant. It's like, how much do you expect from somebody? They just lost somebody. You want them to just be regular? Like,
yeah.
That's so weird. What do you mean, yeah, with that long hesitation? What does that mean?
Well, because I just, look, people, everybody has expectations of what they think people are going to do for them. But in reality, I'll be careful about how I say this. There are very few people in your life that are going to hit the ideal of friendship or parent or spouse.
Right. Yeah.
In the real world, when it really costs somebody to be your friend, when it really costs somebody to associate with you, there are very, 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 very few people that are going to be in it for the long haul with you. Most of the time, I mean, I know me personally, you know, when I lost my mom, like, the person I was with at the time wasn't particularly supportive. Especially considering the way that my mom went out, the same way her mom went out, so you'd figure there was
some understanding.
There was none. And I, as much as I can think about, I don't have any real negative feelings to her about that, or about other people. You know, there were people that knew, like, that my life was, like, on fire, and were basically like, well, we still need you to do X, Y, Z, and all the rest of it. And look, man, at the end of the day, like, those people, I was doing something for those, they were getting something out of me or something like that. And so they didn't want to lose that. So me and what I was going through, yeah, that sucked. But they had stuff that they were going through, and I was helping, you know, whatever with them. So I understand it. I mean, I look at objectively speaking. If it was me, I would never let a person, like, what I was going through that time period. Like, I would have never. No. I'd have been like, dude, take a break. Blah blah blah.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, it got to the point. Like, you remember, like, when I got called up on trips, I'd be like happy I wouldn't have to deal. You know, like, I'm like, this is pretty much a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Like,
oh my god.
I'm spinning out, and everybody's like, oh man, like, oh, you know, we gotta get home. Everybody's like, oh, we gotta get home, you know, we gotta make sure everybody's safe, everybody get home clean or whatever. I'm like, yes, I'm going, yes. And maybe, you know,
oh my gosh, that's so bad. Wow, that is so crazy.
That's why I took more risks than everybody, because
wow,
you know, they thought I was trying to be a badass. It really just you know, so, like, I understand, like, you want people to be there for you and all the rest of it. You know that phrase, be kind, everybody's fighting a hard battle.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to think about that too when people are, like, betraying you or not fulfilling their obligations as your friend in friendship or whatever. Like, you just gotta understand, they're fighting a hard battle too, man. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, they sold you out to make life better for themselves or make life not as hard for themselves, but they did a calculation. That's all they could do. And how can you resent somebody for that weakness? Like me, like, I'll never talk to you again, but I'm not going to sit there and sit there in, like, resentment and anger and, like, ridiculous. Like, they did what they needed to do for themselves in that moment. They're just communicating to you, I'm not somebody you should invest more time in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If somebody's doing that to you, they're not in a space, or I'm not in a space where I could invest time with you then. If that's what you're saying. But I'm not going to say that you're a horrible person because you couldn't come through and be the support that I needed you to be. I think that's a self-focused way of looking at why people are the way they are. Listen, if you're friends with somebody, there's something about them, or you're the girlfriend or boyfriend, there's something about them that you liked. Mm-hmm. So when they didn't come through for you in that particular point, those things don't get deleted. So that's me. I'm like, well, I mean, I was around this person for X amount of years. We enjoyed the time together. Like, we don't have to put superimpose some other thing on top of it to where I say, okay, but yeah, they were horrible the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, like, you were great, and then the friendship got tested at a certain level, and you demonstrated that we were not friends at that level. That doesn't make you bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you horrible. It doesn't make me a victim. It doesn't make you. It just means that was the level of our friendship, and you had to do whatever to protect yourself. I understand that. I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna waste time. I have a very keen understanding of my mortality, so I'm not gonna waste time with you anymore. And that doesn't mean you're a waste. It just means, me personally, the way that I do relationships, it would be a waste of time for both of us, because now I don't trust you. Now I'm questioning everything. You know how my mind works. I'm like, this is just be a waste of time. So I'm just never going to speak to you again. Like, it's just a waste of time.
That's so interesting. I never noticed that angle of why you do that. That's so interesting. Okay. Yeah.
What?
Why you're like, okay, that relationship is done. Like, that's an angle that I didn't know, is that you're like, you did the calculation and you're like, there's literally so much work ahead to... We're just not.
It's just gonna be
Why should we do this?
Maintaining fake relationships to me is like the biggest waste of energy I've ever seen. But it's a pastime that's like been exponentially multiplied now because of social media. So now you have all these different dynamics. I can talk to you without seeing my body language, so I can still talk to you. I can hate your guts, but you won't know because I'm just texting. It's just in text form, so you could potentially think we're still all good when in reality I'd smack the shit out of you if I saw you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I don't believe in keeping dead relationships on life support. Let them shits die. We'll see each other again at the resurrection, inshallah. You know what I'm saying? But this kid is talking about like some real deep pain that he was going through. And yeah, there are some people in his life who, hey, XBM is here. There's some people in his life who, you know, she just couldn't come through for him. And for that girl, we don't know what she was dealing with. You see what I'm saying? You don't know what she was dealing with. You don't know what his issues triggered in her and all the rest of it. So it's not, oh, you left him at the, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Solid 9 for me.
Yeah, and it might be that she did the calculation too, and she was like,
exactly,
hey, his lifestyle, this is never going to change. This is going to happen more and more, and then he's going to have all
we don't know how many apologies he had to do for her. You know what I'm saying? Because if you grew up in that context, and I guarantee you have a bunch of. It's very true of me. You get a bunch of pathologies and stuff that people are tired of.
Yeah.
It could very well be, man, she's just sick of your shit. Oh, here you go. You have another problem. Like, if you came to me in 10 years from now, like, another problem, I'm out of here. I would understand. I wouldn't blame you and say, oh, you're some horrible person because you couldn't deal with my shit anymore. I would understand. Okay. This is solid 9 for me.
9.2.
There you are, dear listener. We got one more song for you. This has been what an interesting night. We'll come right up, losers. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener. We are in the midst of a hip-hop night.
Last song of our hip-hop stream.
We are a Christian reaction channel for sure.
We are. That's true.
And we are a metal reaction channel for sure. But today, hip-hop has invaded.
We are a scientific Christian metal channel. Have to have that in there now. We're going to add that. All right, last song on the list is King Lil G. The name of the song is Grow Up. Uh-oh. This will probably be sad. Sad. Ready, babe? King Lil G, Grow Up. I'm going to pull up the lyrics over here. So this is... Okay, so that first... 2 artists ago was King Lil G. So this is the second song tonight by him, which is cool. I like it when we get to hear multiple songs by the same artist because it gives you like a different little idea of who they are because it's right back to back basically. Whoops. Basically. So, here we go.
Hold on, let me just tell them they can go.
The baby is not in bed.
They're still holding him?
Yeah, he's down there with them.
Why are they doing that at 11:30?
I'm assuming it's because nobody wanted to sit up there to make sure he was good. They wanted to all be together.
All right. Here we go, guys. King Lil G, Grow Up. Let's do it. Let me blow this up a little bit.
Good morning, boys and girls. You over there in that black shirt. What you want to be when you grow up?
My mother worked 2 jobs, gang banging was too raw. 1993, I was bumping some of that Snoop Dogg. Murder was the case, my uncle caught a case. My grandmother stressing out, I could feel the pain. Acting older than I was, I should have been acting my age. I had to walk to school, I got recruited to the gang. My mother tried to do her best on minimum wage, but it was hard when I seen the drug dealers in the range. Such a bad example, she didn't even know it. I truly needed my father with me, you need to know it. You need to know it, cause I need someone to be heroic. Someone to motivate me when I wanna be a poet. I truly think that I could be the dopest. Maybe notice, never losing my focus. But you ruined the moment. Shit was hard in my apartments. Roaches and old carpets. I'm an enemy target. Mattresses by the garbage. I know it's hard to grow up. I know it's hard to grow up. But it's time to grow up. I know it's hard to grow up. I know it's hard to grow up, homie. Everybody gotta grow. But it's time to grow up. Everybody gotta grow.
What you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a motherfucking hustler. You better ask somebody.
Yo, I wish my father never met that woman. Broke my family up, you should've fucking left that woman. I was eating cereal, my mama cried asleep. Remember the kisses I gave you on the side of your cheek? I made some promises that I will make accomplishments, and I became a criminal. Please accept my apologies. I'ma get you out of this. Show these rappers what time it is. Buy you the car you needed and have somebody to drive you in. My mama held my hand standing at the bus stop. Gave me the love I needed in streets covered with gunshots. Stop making excuses and stop going to prison. Cause people forget about you when people don't even visit. This is for my young homies thinking there's no way out. Throwing your life away living broke, that shit is played out. OGs tell me stories about life in the pen. A dark cell, homies lost doing heroin. It's hard to grow up. I know it's hard to grow up. But it's time to grow up. I know it's hard to grow up. I know it's hard to grow up. I know it's hard to grow up. But it's time to grow up.
But everybody gotta grow up, grow up. And if you fall, get back up. And just remember everybody gotta grow up. And if you fall, get back up.
I liked her singing at the end. This is a good one.
Man.
Okay, listen, I have to admit, this time I listened to some of the lyrics, and then some of the time I just let the lyrics go just to feel it. And I enjoyed the beat. But it was a sad story. The dad got with this woman that ended up breaking up their whole family. That's sad. But when he said, "Remember the kisses I gave you on the side of your cheek," I was like, "Oh."
That was to his mom.
To his mama
when she was crying. She was crying herself to sleep,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That shit is.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. You never want to put your sons in a situation where they have to protect their mother from their father. Oh, that's.
But that's why I
terrible.
said, like, I never had that kind of father wound type thing, because my older brother, he did that role too. So when my mom and my stepdad were getting into it, no disrespect to Mr. Man, but when they were getting into it, like, my brother was in the middle of that shit, my older brother. And, you know, Junior was as skinny as a rail, man. Like, he was, he took his little broom, and Mr. Man was looking like, "What are you going to do to me, Junior? You going to do something to me? Look at that. And Junior was like, "Take another step. We'll do it." I was like, "Yo." And, at the time, I was, like, out. I was, like, razor size, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had nothing, and I didn't know what was going. I didn't really know what was going on. And my older brother, like, yeah, there was a lot of.
As if you remember all that.
Listen, man, my brother. Let me say it this way: there were members of my family that concocted a plan, lied about another member of my family, and got him locked up. Like, no bullshit. Like, it was like to that degree. That's how far. Like, shit went growing up. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's an archetype actually in the hood of the son who goes and fixes everything. That's an archetype.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you listen to Pac's song "Dear Mama," he's like, I hope you got the diamond necklace that I sent you. I love paying all your rent when the rent's due.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he's talking about drug dealing.
Yeah.
So that was the mentality. So in the 80s and all that, you had mass incarceration of black families. Black families break up, and so now you had this gap, and a lot of times the son
had to
would
come in
and take up that mantle, and the way to do that was to sell drugs.
Wow.
So Jay, Big, all these guys, like, that's all they're talking about. Now, in this situation, this has nothing to do with mass incarceration. This was, you saw a girl with a fat ass, and then you're going to leave your family behind. And that was, I remember seeing my mom cry over my stepdad. They could never figure it out. She didn't do it a lot. But I would hear her in the room crying, hurt. And it was, there was physical stuff happening, but she was just hurt.
That's unnerving as a kid to hear that too.
Well, my mom was such a strong personality. She was so strong. You couldn't tell her anything. My mom was, But yeah, like, hearing her cry, I just remember being like, yo, I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to be in that. And it's one of the things that, like, kept me in, probably people say I was probably 4 or 5 years too long, but it was one of the things that kept me in that relationship.
Yeah.
It's because I married her, I committed to her, and so, like, I was never going to leave. And, so,
that relationship was, it came to its ending point, but you still make sure she's good.
That shit was done for years before it was actually done, and,
I'm just saying, because, like, I know you like to see something to its completion, and I know that wasn't, but at the same time, you still making sure she's good. You always have. Even when stuff was, like, really difficult, you made sure she was good.
Yeah. No, yeah, and that she's always going to be in our lives, and that's, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just one of the things that made it difficult. I opened the mailbox and divorce papers are actually, like, finally there. It's like, fuck, man. Like, yeah, I could just never figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? I could just never figure it out with her. And it was weird because I was spending so much time like trying not to be like my stepdad. Like I didn't realize that I was actually in my mom's situation. You see what I'm saying? So my mom was always hoping, okay, this time he's gonna change, and now you'd hear all this stuff, and they'd be together, like they were like the couple when they were getting along. So there was just a lot of like, you know, but yeah, like, you know, I'm happy where we all are. Like as far as, you know, I mean, me personally, I believe that whole situation, that relationship took my mother's life. I really believe that. And I don't blame him. I don't hate him. Like, I love the dude. I'm happy that he's happy and he's going around still doing his thing. And every time I talk about him, it's with real and genuine affection. People change, people grow, and he wasn't it, you know what I'm saying? He's a different person now, you know, and so that's what you know. But yeah, those things are tough, and that's one of the reasons why, like, I was never ever gonna leave my kids without a father, dude. Like that was never gonna happen. So like when she was saying all that shit, I'm like, yo, like there was no discussion, there's no debate, there's no nothing. I remember like calling the lawyer when she sent me the papers, and he's like, all right, how much you trying to get, you know, like, for child support? I'm like, I don't think that's going to be necessary. He's like, she's going to ask for child support. I said, no, I have the kids. He said, you have the kids? I'm like, yeah, I got the kids. Like, that's, like, our family, like, we don't fuck around with, I mean, you know, like, generationally, like, we don't fuck around. I was like, no, I got all the kids. He's like, well, how much? Like, what's the split? I'm like, I have them full time. He's like, okay, so we're going to sue for child support. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. He's like, what? I was like, I'm not doing that. Just get us through the divorce or whatever. He hung up on me. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it was probably so unfair. Yeah, he probably didn't want that on his record.
He's like,
yeah,
it
made no sense because you're like an anomaly.
So we got our shit done. We did it without the court and whatever. It's hilarious. I mean, she's downstairs right now.
I know.
She's downstairs right now with the kids. You know what I'm saying?
She's like, can I start some laundry? I'm like, sure.
I gotta tell you though, I asked a lot out of you. And I know that. So, thank you. But yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but I kept thinking, you know, I knew you were trying to do what was best for the kids. I wanted what was best for the kids. I wanted what was going to bring you the least amount of stress. So I didn't always do good. On the times that I did do good, like, yeah. But it's better for the kids. Today was the first time that they were like, is it ever weird when you're talking to our mother? Because as they're getting older, you know what I mean? And then some crash happened, and so the conversation just moved on. But, I mean, they've gone all this time without even thinking that could be weird. So, yeah, it's cool. It's good if you can do that for the kids. And I think everybody should, to the absolute best that you can, like, try to make stuff work out so that way the kids feel less of the impact of
it's not really mind-boggling to me because I understand, like, homeboy, like he has if you come from a divorced household, you kind of have, if you're thoughtful, you can see the pitfalls and the we're at war, so then the kids are gonna get, you know, some of the shrapnel. And so I think because of that, I've been able to make different decisions than you know, homeboy. And you know, I don't have any ill feelings about that issue either relative to that. I understand where he's coming from. He's never experienced that before, so he's just gonna go out and do and say a bunch of dumb shit that I'm sure he regrets already. You know what I'm saying? So we're all out here trying to make it. It's a good song, though. It was real. I'm very surprised. These were two songs where the dad just went off with some girl.
Well, no,
and-
remember 2 of them were the same guy, right? So
well, the song before was
Oh, it
a
was
different
the one
guy,
right before,
and the dad
right.
had went off MC
Yeah.
Sinatra.
Okay.
And then in this situation, same thing happened. Shit is
Yeah.
incredible to me. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Sad.
Like, I don't understand how you could do that to a person that you love in general, but
Yeah.
you got kids now, you're gonna do that shit. That shit is crazy to me, bro, that people are like that. That's just unbelievable that people would do something like that. And, you know, that's why, you know, like, some people on the channel, like, I love everybody knows I love everybody, but like that's what me and Dan have had that kind of,
Yeah.
because when you're going through the particular situation that me and him were going through, you feel like you're by yourself. And I mean, in reality, I'm not going to get in all particulars of mine or his situation, but in reality, it was kind of like that. I mean, literally, it took me to find somebody from fucking Australia or New Zealand, whatever the hell he's from.
Right.
To find somebody that could really, truly, like, sit down and have that, like, I'm not saying I'm not friends with other people. I'm just talking about, like, the specific kinds of struggles.
Right.
I just think that's, I think, you know, I just think that that's important. Because
I definitely think I agree. I think it's important.
It's one of the
Absolutely.
things that kind of stabilized the ship for me a little bit.
I bet.
And
I bet it helped him too, because I mean, that's the situation is so friggin' unique.
I would be in church and I'd be like praying, like, "Yo, send me somebody that knows what the fuck is going on, because I have no idea how to fix this problem."
Oh.
But he knew, well, the problem's not going to get fixed the way that you think it is, and so what you're gonna need is Dan later. So literally, like, it came out like 12, 15 years after I prayed for him. And, you know, like, you find God kind of puts those people around you. You know what I'm saying? When you need it.
Yep.
Not when you think you need it, but when he knows you will. You know? So.
It's true.
It was tough. It was tough going through that, because I was going through that shit in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Look at this, Luminous Night. Did your faith carry you through those times or develop as a result of them?
I would say that it's a both and situation. I'll say that my faith gave me the longevity to do that for 15 years, because, like, people don't know the situation, but it was literally just 15 years of every single day, you know. It was difficult. It was difficult. Like, when sometimes I'll just think about it as, like, you know, your mind wanders off or whatever. It's like a nightmare. Like,
that's literally when you said that, and I was like, whoa, that's exactly what I was picturing.
Yeah, some of the shit that
I don't even know all
that I
of it.
think about, like, or we'll be watching like some true crime shit, and I'm like,
oh my god.
I won't say anything because I want you and her to have a good relationship, and you're pretty protective of. You're the first, like, female in my life since New York that has that kind of energy. Like, you go out there and do some work. But yeah. Definitely Jesus brought me through a lot of it. And you know, I'm talking about this as if it's one-sided, but it's not one-sided. You guys have seen me for like years. Like, you guys know, oh, Vin gets in a certain mood. You're like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm sure she has her own story and she gets, you know, whatever too. I mean, we kind of, because we did like a little post-mortem, and we kind of have the same view eventually after a while about like what ended up happening or whatever. But yeah, definitely, like, it was my faith in Christ that kept me going, like, year after year after year after year. And how it developed, you know, after all the carnage happened and the explosion happened and debris and everything like that, and I see where everything is going now. I think the biggest alteration was I stopped judging the moral value of these major events, and I transitioned more to try to, like, understand why those events happened, why I did what I did, why she did what she did, why the surrounding audience, why they were with her the way they were, and vice versa. And so I think I'm becoming a more understanding person in the literal sense. Like I'm seeking more to understand why, which also, is why I'm like, oh, you have friends that betray you and blah, blah, blah. It's like all these thought processes, things that I had to think through myself, and looking at your own weaknesses and my inability to make something like that work. It made me a lot more gracious and understanding with myself, I think. And it And the other thing that was really crazy to me, there were so many wars happening during that whole period of time. And one of the biggest lessons I learned is that God can be on both teams, or all 3 teams, or all 15 teams, and be 100% for the person who's in pain, even if those people are against each other. And that to me was mind-boggling.
Yep.
I knew he was with me. I knew he knew my pain. I knew he was sympathizing with my pain. And I knew when people were being unfair to me, he's like, man, fuck those people. I knew that. I also knew that the people that were being unfair and saying all types of shit and sometimes outright lying on Facebook, I also knew that he loved them and that he was in their corner, and they were saying, that fucking Vincent, and he's like, yeah, I know, he really hurt your feelings, that guy, blah, blah. He was 100% with those people too. And a lot of times, like when you're in the middle of those situations, people try to like claim God for themselves. And they think that if God is on their side, that automatically means he's against the other people.
And that they're right.
It's just not true.
It doesn't necessarily mean that either. Like, he can be there with you to comfort you in your sorrow.
I could be saying, man, that guy, whatever, he could be like, yeah. And I could be completely wrong, but he knows, like, that's not the time to have that conversation. So I'm certain there were people that were like, man, fuck that Vin guy, blah, blah, blah. And they were completely wrong. And he was like, yeah, man, terrible. Like, that was the biggest thing for me that I've gotten through this whole experience the last 5 years, is like, God is with everybody. In the situation. He loves everybody, and somebody's right or wrong in the situation, or there's a combination of all of them, rightness, wrongness, whatever. But at the end of the day, he's a father. He loves everybody, and he's in their corner too. And I'm glad some of those folks wouldn't be here right now if he wasn't.
Yep.
That's just a fact. So, but yeah, thinking about that in the song, it brought up a lot of situations, and everybody always says like, I wouldn't have had it any different, blah blah blah. Like, if I could have had it so that my kids weren't fucking traumatized, all types of shit, I would absolutely press that button.
Well, yeah, but I think people
since I can't press the button, I'm pretty content about where things are right now. That's how I feel about it. So, really, really good song. 9.2. This shows you...
Really? 9.2? Did the female vocals at the end, that didn't up it for you?
It did, actually. And,
okay,
you knew that.
Give us some burn.
Because you know I like female vocals.
Yeah, give us some burn.
That's going up to a 9.6. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie.
For us ladies. Excellent. I'll match you at a 9.6.
Vin, would love to tell you about the email when we have time. One-on-one on the boogie. Sorry, that painting post I promised is on the way. Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right, guys. Shout out to the East Side, the West Side, DJ Mike, and Negative Vibes. Thank you guys so much. This was great.
Yeah.
Hip hop is my wheelhouse. It brought me back to the hood.
Yep.
Brought me back to the bodega.
I learned some things about Vinny. I'm happy about that.
Yup.
And these... We haven't listened to hip hop in a while.
We haven't. We had that MF Doom stream.
Yeah. So it was nice to be able to kind of get that feel, that vibe.
You ever had like one of your favorite foods or a soda and you didn't really realize how much you missed it until you had it? It was like this, like with the hip hop.
Okay.
Especially, go ahead.
I used to drink yellow Red Bulls years ago, and then for the longest time, I wasn't drinking them at all, right? Like, for the longest. Then I would sporadically get them. So anyway, I had one tonight, which made me feel nostalgic, and then the hip hop music was also like another. So it was a cool vibe. It was a cool feel.
So Michelle is writing a book.
Oh, wow.
That's about to be published in about 60 days. So think about that, y'all.
That's crazy.
Do you think I have any theory with the release of my book? I mean, it depends on what kind of person you are, Michelle. You know, a lot of people have opinions. I'm sure it's going to bless a lot of people. I'm sure it's going to give a lot of courage and hope to a lot of people. But, you know, there's a lot of hurt people in the world, and the way that they currently have of dealing with their hurt is try to hurt other people. So realistically speaking, there are going to be people that read what you say and they're going to say some negative shit. I mean, you got to think to yourself, I had a friend, him and a family member had done a special, a pretty big guy, and they had included a certain detail in the story that did not get it got nixed on the cutting room floor. And it was the dad and his daughter, certain situations happened, and they both kind of basically said, yeah, that's not for everybody. So they took that away. But you just have to realize, like, the type of world that we're in. Like, if you're at peace with the situation, if the situation is a closed deal in your mind, like, for example, I talk about the time I spent at the psych ward, you know, there'll be people like, why should I listen to this guy? He's crazy. He spent time at the psych ward. Well,
really?
People are going to say that. Right? I talk about a suicide attempt.
Well, why would you say that? Like, if somebody thinks that,
you should have been successful, blah, blah, blah. It's because it's the internet. It's anonymity, and people are going to say, so me personally, there's probably something wrong with me. I enjoy shit like that. I enjoy going back and forth with people like that. But there are other people that don't. So what I would suggest to you is that take the worst thing that you're going to talk about in the book and think of the worst possible comment that could be generated from that. And if you can read that and still be okay and still maintain yourself, then keep it in the book. If you can't, then take it out. That's how I'd look at it. And the other thing, too, is, like, you're not only going to write one book, inshallah. You may write multiple books. So it may be that the time is not right to share certain things. That's something you're going to have to consult with your husband and your spirituality on, right? So, I mean, I can't answer that one directly for you, but people are definitely going to jump on the worst possible thing. I mean, look, you can do it that way, as Amy's talking about it, put it as fiction. You could also use a pseudonym. You don't have to necessarily use your actual name. Or it may be you say, fuck those people. I'm completely healed over that situation. There's nothing you could say, you know? And if that's the case, then great, keep it. Go for it.
The poetry that we've seen from you has been absolutely beautiful.
100%.
And I mean, if people are going to talk, no matter what you do, people are always going to be out there talking. But I think that the advice that he was giving, I think that was really good. And also just, this is your thing. If you want to share it out there, just know people are gonna say stuff, but like you're putting yourself out there, and like we do that a lot with our reviews. But if you can just look at it as like, you know what, let go. Like, remember that guy yesterday that we were listening to? You were at the stream, so he had that art form, and then he went into 2 years of seclusion because nobody liked his stuff. But then we were all sitting here last night and we were like, this is unbelievable.
Nick Drake was his name.
Yeah. So like, there's situations like, just because it's not accepted by the people that see your art or the people that it's advertised to or the whatever, it doesn't mean that it's trash either. Like, sometimes it's just like, maybe that guy, it was like a timing thing. Maybe, I have no idea. We were all like mind blown that the guy even wasn't recognized in his time, but still, that happens to artists. Mm-hmm. So if you can like accept that, to just say, look, if this doesn't get recognized to the degree that it is beautiful, then we'll just give it some time, you know, like who knows what will happen in the future. But if you love your stuff and you want it to be out there, like do that. I guess you gotta figure out what your goal is.
Yeah.
So.
That's from Dan. Yeah.
Anyway. Thanks, Dan.
I respect her too for that. Yeah. So there you go, Michelle. That's either way, it's gonna be awesome, and you know that we're here to support you. So people say some dumb shit to you, they'll never say it. They'll never say it in real life. That's the other thing. They'll never say it to you in real life.
Not if Finn's there. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that was it. Morgan. Morgan's her husband. Morgan will take care of business, whatever his name is. Shout out to the homie.
Yeah, that's right. The husband that comes in and lets us know what's going on.
Yeah, he's the one that let us know that she was being born. So, like, you know.
That's right.
You can say whatever you want on the internet, but don't let homeboy hear you saying something reckless about his girl. He's gonna put the screws to you. Not that I'm advocating violence. But not on his watch. All right, guys. Yo, DJ Mike. We haven't heard from you in such a long time. It was so good to have you here, man.
Both of you. Negative, really thanks for coming through.
Negative vibe. It's really good to see the people. You know, look, you have little doubts here and there when you're, you know, I wanted to take some leave because, you know, we do believe in maternity leave. I know we're in America, but so it's cool to like go on vacation for a bit, take a break, and then come back and then see people like Mike. Tony was in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because you kind of wonder. You're like, wow, it's been this many weeks. Like, are people like?
We haven't had ninth Hydra in for such a long time. Like,
yeah. So it's cool.
It's cool seeing you folks, XBM, all you beautiful people. And we're gonna keep it moving, guys. We got streams scheduled, and we got people thinking about streams and things like that. So we are here.
Lots of good stuff.
Lots of good stuff. New commercials coming on the way. Update videos are coming on the way. I was looking at some of our old videos. We used to shoot an update video like once a week. So
also, I heard
all that jazz.
One of the people on Discord, maybe there's a spot on Discord where there's a calendar that says when the upcoming streams are. If somebody can reach out to me through the secret email and we can maybe we can coordinate so I can plug in a few more holes for you guys so you'll know when the streams are.
All right. I don't know if anybody mentioned, but Sin and Glory is coming back. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do something special for Sin and Glory. We're gonna do something special.
Okay.
If anybody can resurrect an alliance, we're gonna do something special for them. So that's good. So we're back, guys. So there you go. Much love to all you beautiful people. We have to bid you adieu. Avita Zane, you beautiful people. We are out of here until the next time.